It's fucking dead. Hey, Fluffy. So the chat box isn't on. Show. There we go. It's fucking tight. Oh, it's been so excited for this for fucking ages. I love literally all their last words. I cannot wait. I'm so glad to have you here. But let's not waste your fucking time. Let's play the game.
New beginnings are exciting, aren't they?
Fog settled over the forest, far from the villages and towns, and with it came silence. Birch trees shivered, pondering the weather, and dropped their leaves in fright. Streams bubbled, unseen by man, and babbled like the birds in the trees. In the middle of the forest was a grove. In the middle of that grove was a log. It had been years since it had fallen. Once one of the proudest trees around, and now its death was home to an abundance of life. Thank you for the follow. A line of frantic ants ran to and fro. Mushrooms, cloud-like and pillowy, sprouted across one side, like a footpath for fairies. Nearby, an old toad flopped contently in the mud. And inside the deep, damp hollow of the tree slept something. The travellers strode into the grove. Their feet were slow and tired, and they spotted the log of relief, like greeting an old friend. Weary from the day's journey, the travellers sat to take rest. Whoosh. With scrabbling of nails on rotten wood, a shadow bolted from inside the log to the tall grass nearby. The traveller watched the brush rustle as a faint patch of fur appeared within. Hello there, friend. I didn't mean to disturb you. They held their hands towards the grass, offering a piece of dried fish. At first there was no reaction, and then first a snout appeared, quivering as it tested the air, then followed the rest of the fox, sleek and tawny, as she took several steps forward. Her amber eyes were alight with mistrust, but also with wild curiosity. The strangers sat unfazed, their offerings still outstretched. They dared to meet the fox's eyes, and in that glance felt something kindred. As the fox closed her jaws around the gift, a bond was made. Maybe we aren't so different, you and I. The traveller returned the next day, and the day after that. Each day they brought some treat for their new friend. Each day the fox's steps grew a little more trusting. One day, when the traveller arrived, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently.
Hello, my friend. Have you been waiting long?
Ooh, God, that's some fucking new fancy speech bubble shit. The fox peered up at the traveller. Her amber eyes were warm and trusting. She accepted her gift of meat, gnawing it at the traveller's feet, then and there. The travellers sat, imprinting into their minds the feeling of the wood beneath them, the clean air around them, and the tender bond of companionship.
Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? This will be the last time, I'm afraid. Because I'll be going home tomorrow.
Aww.
Home is such a small place compared to the rest of the world. Yet, it's some place I can't wait to return to. I wish I could bring you with me, little friend. I wish that you could see the world too. Your home is all around me though, isn't it? It's wherever the trees are, wherever the leaves fall. Little fox, perhaps it's you who's the more fortunate of the two of us.
All too soon, it was time for the traveller to go. As they bade goodbye to the forest and to the fox, they knew that they would not return, and that they would carry the memories with them always. And the next day, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently. Chapter 1 of Foxes and Fables.
We've now docked at Wellington Skyport. Thank you for flying with Kiwi Airlines, and we hope to see you again.
The intercom's announcement is muffled in the closet to where I'm hiding, just like the clattering of seatbelts and chattering of passengers getting ready to disembark. Oh, she's adorable. Look at this baby. I wiggle around impatiently, sore from crouching in here for I don't even know how long it's been. Hours for sure. The last few minutes I always feel like they're taking the longest. I parade of footsteps begin to pass by outside my door. It's time. I listen carefully, waiting for a gap in the crowd. When it comes, I stand up and push the door open in a single movement. I give a wink to the shocked-looking lady that I step out in front of. Doesn't even have time to grasp before I'm out of her sight. Humans. They're always kind of slow. What if I'm not happy? What then? Well then you should play the game and maybe you will be. I nod at the smiling flight attendant as I pass her by, and then throw up my hood to cover my face. It's been a while since I last flew, but it doesn't seem like things haven't changed much. It's always been harder to sneak on than it is to take off. I follow the crowd to the end of the walkway and step out onto the ground. After a long stretch, I take a deep breath and savour the fresh air, after being stowed away for so long. Wellington Skyport, New Zealand.
I made it!
My breathless voice joins the pleasant hum of the Skyport. A few clouds drift lazily overhead, almost within arm's reach. The sound of the waves rolling onto the shore is like a lullaby. It makes me want to burrow into the sand and take a nap. But I can't. First I need to get out of here, and there's one more challenge ahead. Up ahead, the snaking lane of passengers splits as people are funneled into security stations. Well, I'm too far back to hear what the guards are saying. It looks like they're examining a little booklet of each traveller, from each traveller before lighting the pass, giving assured like processes and procedures. I definitely don't have a booklet like that. Glancing around, I hope to find another way out. An open window would work, or even around guarded exit. I'm pretty sneaky when I need to be. Unfortunately, it looks like the only way to leave is through the security. Without any other option, I join one of the lines to prepare myself. I have to do this the old-fashioned way. The line moves briskly as passengers are cleared, one after the other, and I'm almost at the front of the queue before I know it. As a passenger in front of me approaches the booth, I listen closely.
Good afternoon. Passport, please.
Right here. It's good to be home.
I'm sure. Welcome back.
He stamps something in the man's booklet, then hands it back to him. He continues out of the airport.
Next.
That's me. I don't know what they'll do to people without papers, but I don't want to find out. I'm sure it involves a lot of questions, being escorted around, and other unpleasant stuff. Casually approaching the gate, I put on my brightest, friendliest smile while keeping a slight distance. With my breath steady and my tail calm, I'm sure to put on a convincing act.
Passport, please.
Of course!
I fumble around my pockets, pretending to look for my passport. Instead, I grab the useless, clunky phone that I've been carrying around, and let it clatter to the ground at the guard's feet. As expected, she bends down to retrieve it for me,
Oh, let me get that for you.
and I make a run for it, bolting ahead and rushing past the security booth as quickly as I can.
Hey, you wait!
Stop!
Off she goes. By the time they realise what happened, I've already have a few seconds head start. My inhuman speed combined with the natural chaos of the Skyport should also buy me a bit of time. Still, I've got to get them off my tail. I got a little map, look at that shit. I gotta click shit? Oh, I do. Look at that. Dashing for the Skyport's door and out of the road and out onto the road ahead outside. I don't even have time to take in the city. Without stopping for breath, I run into the narrow streets, while weaving between cars and shocked bystanders. Being seen by so many people like this is annoying, but it won't matter by tomorrow. Putting the thought out of my mind, I vault over a low wall onto a nearby alleyway, and land at a crouch. Out of sight, but only for a moment. close my eyes and relax all muscles. All feeling disappears except for a slight warmth against my neck. My secret weapon. The unremarkable looking necklace is one of my only possessions, and by far the most important. I sat in one of the beads strung around my neck begins to heat up in response to my will. A soothing warmth flows from my body. My hands and feet begin to morph first, and the fur chasing up my arms and legs. They distort and shorten. This sensation was so bizarre the first few times I tried it. It's amazing how it's become second nature by now. Closing my eyes, I let my body and head shift and turn. The face is always a little uncomfortable. My once human face changing and lengthening into a snout with some difficulty. The process complete, after only a few seconds, I open my eyes, not as a human, but as a fox. I dart away without waiting, far quicker on 4 legs than I ever could be on 2. Obstacles like the stack of garbage cans ahead would be a pain to get past as a human, but instead, I'm able to flit between the gaps without slowing down.
That's her! I know it!
Sounds like security guards haven't given up on me yet. I got the pace running as fast as my paws will take me. With heavy breathing, getting further and further away, and in just a minute or two, I know I'm safe. I don't know where I am, but it's not like I ever knew where I was when I started running. I almost feel bad for the guy who was chasing me. He never stood a chance. Even in the crowded city streets, there's no way anyone or anything can outrun me. The wind just wishes it could keep up with me. Comfortable, the danger is past. I slip into another alley. Once I'm sure I'm alone, I close my eyes and concentrate on the form I want to take once more. A familiar flowing warmth runs through me again. My body stretches and deforms on my command. A few seconds later, I open my eyes to glance up at my hands.
Better luck next time.
Brushing the dust off myself, I nonchalantly stroll out of the alleyway and back into the street. The other person walks by on this errand or another, not paying any attention to me, just the way I like it.
Left, right, past turn, left.
Mapping out my path in my head, I look for a way to the main road. It'll be easier to get my bearings there. I pick turns at random without any real destination in mind. When I decided to take the journey to Wellington, it was pretty impulsive. I'd overheard another pair of travelers talking about it and how beautiful a city it was. With a moment now to take in the scenery, I can see they weren't wrong. The streets around here seem like a mix of homes and businesses. Everything is very colourful. Even the bricks are covered in paintings and pictures. In the distance, I can see green hills that are lined with houses, as well as green hills that are completely empty. There are a lot of hills now that I look around some more. Oh my god, the banners are gay. From just a few streets away, the sound of pedestrians by the intersections float my way. Head in its direction, taking shortcuts through yards and driveways when it's convenient. At one lawn, a big dog growls at me as I pass by. When I transform and growl right back, he tucks his tail and runs away. Dogs and I have always had an understanding. After squeezing through one last narrow side street, finally emerging to what looks like a main road. There are no cars here, but tons of people on foot. There are brightly coloured signs and decorations on most of the buildings. In the middle of the street, there are fountains and benches and trees and all kinds of stuff. The best part is the variety of stores. When I stroll past a few of the windows and peek in, I can already tell that I'll be able to do most of my shopping around here. There are stores with food, with clothes, with just about everything else. I don't have any money on me, but that isn't exactly a problem. What is a problem is it's too crowded. Dodging a couple of security guards is one thing. Trying to escape down a busy street with lots of people could be too much even for me. Just have to remember where this place is and make another visit later after all the shops are closed. Then a man in a bright coat hurries past me. talking loudly into his phone in a language I don't recognize. He's so distracted doesn't even notice that his wallet falls out of his pocket onto the sidewalk. I notice, of course. Seeing an opportunity, I zip over and snatch it up. Prying open the leather pocket, I find
Score.
a couple of bills in what I figure is the local currency. I slide the money out and into a pocket of my jacket. By now the man is so far ahead that he's almost out of sight. I have to hurry to catch him, to give him back his wallet. Barely even says thank you.
I should have just kept the whole thing.
Probably. I mean, why would you take the money out and then give it to him? Now he knows. Now he knows who took it. Either just leave the wallet where you found it, or give it back before taking any of the money. Amateur work. Go on, go. It's only fair that I get a little something for myself, because it's not like he would have gotten it back without me. I head back to my bench and inspect my prize. What are those? What is the money in New Zealand? Hold on. Apparently New Zealand's have the New Zealand dollar. That is quite literally a PNG of the New Zealand, of a 5 and 10 New Zealand dollar that they have used here. Oh hell yeah, the OST for Please Be Happy just dropped on the YouTube channel. But yeah, that is indeed the New Zealand dollar. A blue bill and a brown one. These feel sturdy, nothing like the paper I expected.
1, 0, 10, and 5. So 15.
She's mathing. Look at her go. 15 isn't much. I definitely should have kept the whole wallet. Oh well, at least this should be enough to buy myself something to drink. I'm not actually sure how much New Zealand dollars are worth. I literally just had it up. It's about 50p. So it's yeah, it's about a New Zealand dollar is about half a pound. So like 7 quid won't get you much. My first is starting to get the better of me, as I haven't had anything since I snuck onto the airship. Following my nose, I walked down the busy street until I found one of the many cafes lining the path. The sign hanging above it, its front door, has a picture of a bell on it. A charming bell rings out from above the door as I enter. I can't help but savor the wave of refreshing, cool air that washes over me, which feels even better after so much running.
Hiya! Welcome to the Bell House.
They don't even run into the main one of the main love interests in here. They probably will, which. The barista behind the counter is the only other person in the store right now. As I nod in greeting, she leans forward with a cup in one hand and a pen in her other. Today, I just slow the fuck down when I'm reading.
What can I get you? We're having a special on affogatos if you want to try one.
The fuck's an affogato? Let's see. Italian coffee-based dessert. Those look really good, to be fair. I kind of want one. If it gets to the option, we're totally getting one.
Usually, they're like $7, but today, they're only 5. I'd like a...
I'm not sure what an affogato is. It's not a vegetable. I'm not wanting to commit to the strange-sounding drink, but look at the menu instead. Unfortunately, it's full of handwritten, spindly letters. I can't read a single word. There are no helpful pictures. Safe option it is.
I'll just have a vanilla latte. Ugh, boring. But okay. Name?
Getting fucking sassed by the barista already.
Mio.
My first time testing out how that name sounds, and I decided that I like it. I decided on the airship that was the name I would use here in Wellington. I've used so many names for it in my life that I can't remember most of them. For each new city that I visit, I come up with something new. Boxes don't have any use for names, so nobody ever gave me one. Scribble something on the cup with a black marker. If that's how my name looks, then I'm even more pleased with it.
$4.50, please.
I hand her the brown bell, and she gives me back a big coin with a picture of a boat on it.
Alright, I'll have this ready for you in no time.
She seems enthusiastic. She sure seems enthusiastic. I notice that she spins around and starts working, looking about somewhere to sit. I decide on a seat by the window with the sun pouring in. Near the entrance of the cafe, there's a wire rack with a stack of maps and tourist pamphlets, so I grab one of the maps before taking my seat. This cafe is big and bright, with plants everywhere. They're on the walls, on the floor, and on the ceiling. Most of them are real and vibrant, obviously being well cared for. Even the lights that hang down from the ceiling have glass ornaments with little shrubs on them. It seems like I made a good choice coming here. Any place with a bit of nature is more comfortable to me than a place without it.
I guess I should find a place to stay.
Looking down at the map I took, I traced the path I made from the porch to this cafe. It's useful, but doesn't really tell me anything helpful about the houses in particular. I need to find a higher vantage point. I'll move my finger along the hills I noticed from outside, following the little brown path to a patch of green with a little mountain icon. That should work for now.
Miho!
My ears perk up right as the barista arrives and places my drink in front of me.
Thanks!
I reach over and take the warm cup in my hands, but the barista doesn't let go.
You ready for the rain tomorrow? Huh? It's gonna rain tomorrow.
I glance behind me out the window. It's as sunny and blue a day as I've ever seen.
How do you know that? There aren't any clouds out there.
She discovers weather.
I'm just good with the weather. Anyway, if you forget, then you'll be sorry.
Even more reason to find a place to stay, I guess. She finally lets go of my drink and heads back behind the counter. People are weird. Does the barista pull that on everyone? Standing on the doorstep, I have my first sip.
Oh, this is really good.
It's very plain, but well made. The coffee isn't too bitter, which is perfect for me. For a moment to myself, my thoughts turn inwards as I sip the warm drink. My first travels were in search of someone, but despite my whole life being spent trying, I haven't made any progress in finding them. So I've taken to simply wandering, going wherever I wish at the time. I've been itching for a change of scenery anyways, so I boarded. Well, snuck onto the first airship that I could. The best part about owning nothing but the clothes on your back is that I can pick up and leave whenever I feel like it. I take a moment to get my bearings and look around. I see a tired-looking person shuffling along the far footpath with a briefcase in their hand. They stop outside one of the buildings, take a deep breath, and pat their face a couple times, then go inside. They must not be looking forward to whatever's going on in there. Maybe they have to fight someone. For the large glass windows of another store, a fawn is trying on a pair of shoes, but they don't seem to fit her hoofs. The person waiting on her looks annoyed. I wonder if she fusses around for footwear a lot. For a while, I simply let the day roll by and watch the various figures to stroll by. People watching is fun, especially in such a busy city. Eventually, I go to sip my coffee, only to find nothing coming out. With no reason to stick around, it's time to go. On the sunlit street, I look about to match what I can see with the map's directions. There's a tall green mountain in the distance ahead of me, which must be the one on the map. It'll be perfect vantage point for the city. Ideally, I can find an empty building I can crash in, but it's not necessary. The roof over my head would be nice, but I'm plenty used to sleeping outside with, under the stars. Sometimes it's better than sleeping in a bed. Encouraged by the plan forming in my head, I set off on the long walk to the summit. Here we go. The path to the mountain turns out to be a little less simple than the map made it look. First, the trail takes me along the waterfront, and then it turns upward for a small forested area. Being among the trees and their tall shadows make me feel at home. When the path leaves the woods again, I'm a little disappointed. It leads up a paved road, so I stick to the edge to avoid passing cars. Sometimes I take shortcuts for yards or up unmarked paths. There There are quite a few nice looking homes right around the roadside. I'll make a mental note to go check them out when I'm low on money or food. Not much further along, a concrete outlook offers another glimpse of the city below. A couple airships are coming into dock at the skyport, probably from one of the other floating islands. There's still a ways to go to the top of the mountain, but luckily the walk has been easy so far. I wouldn't even consider it a hike. Eventually I reach the final stretch of road. I can see where it curves ahead to the summit, and I hurry to the end. A metal railing spreads out like a crown on top of the mountain. As I go to toss my empty cup away, a pair of chatting tourists pass me by.
How far is it from here?
Oh, about an hour from the base of Mount Victoria, so a bit further from here.
Mount Victoria.
I'm glad to know what this place is called. I say the name out loud to help commit it to memory. Standing at the edge, I'm treated to a wonderful view of Wellington. The city forms a crescent moon shape around the bay, which glitters like a sapphire from up here. The sun is starting to set, and that makes the water even more shimmery. Even more airships can be seen coming and going. I think that I can see the edge of the floating island we're on, miles out in the open sky. Survey the city, using the skyport as a reference point. From here, what feels like a long chase really doesn't look far at all. If I strain my eyes, I think you can even see the coffee shop from earlier. What was it the barista said that it was called? The Bell House? It's kind of tough to make out details. My hearing and sense of smell may be great, but my eyes aren't that much better than a human's. I'm just gonna turn off the chat box for now. So everyone's been quiet, just so you can see everything better. Did I notice something useful?
Look! Is that our house?
Probably. What can you see from here?
I see Dad's car!
Not far away is a little kid who's using a pair of metal tubes attached to a post. His mummy is helping him aim it at the city. Must be something that improves your vision. The moment the kid and his mum leave, I hurry over before someone else can get to them first. I press my eyes to the same spot as the child did, though. All I can see is black. Try moving it around, it doesn't change. This thing busted? No text is printed on the side. I have no idea what it says. There's a small slot though, with a picture of a coin next to it. Lucky for me, it's the coin that has the 50 on it. I put the coin that I received from the barista into the slot and spin a lever. The machine eats my coin, and then I put my eyes to it again.
Yes!
Everything looks so much closer now. Even the trees on the other side of the hill appear in crystal clear detail. It's like I'm standing right next to them. I aim the viewing glasses at the city and look around, trying to find a good place to rest for the night. Houses are a no-go. Even if they look empty and abandoned, you can never let your guard down for a minute. Same with most shops. I don't have enough money for a hotel. I can't risk sneaking into one of those either. As I'm studying the site, trying to memorize what I can, it's a clicking sound, and once again the view goes black. Stupid machine. Smack it a couple of times and check again, and still can't see anything.
Well, whatever. Looks like I'm sleeping outside tonight. Guess this place is as good as any.
I head back down the trail a little bit and veer off into the underbrush. Here we go.
Not perfect, but it'll do.
It's not exactly the wilderness, but just about everything around here seems city-fied to some extent. Usually when I make a den, I prefer to find a good place far from other people. A place where nobody will find me. I doubt I'll find anything perfect, but this is good enough.
It's fine. Can't afford to be picky.
Once the trail I was on is out of sight, I transform again. My neck gets warmer as the bead activates, and a few seconds later I'm on all fours. As a fox, the sensations of nature are much stronger. The earth beneath my paws is cool and refreshing, and the breeze whips through my tail like a massage. I hurry down a hill covered in grass so tall that it reaches way over my head. I can smell fresh water, and follow the scent to a small stream where I'm able to parch my thirst. It's just as satisfying as the drink I got at the cafe, but in a different way. And being able to slurp at water is way more enjoyable than having to use a straw, or worse, one of those lids with the tiny holes. For a little while I follow my nose to some berries and some edible plants that'll do for a snack. Unfortunately, unlike the water, foraging is never as satisfying as eating human food. If I want a real meal tonight though, I should pick up the pace before it gets too late. Still, I want to get this done now, while there's still daylight. Keep close to the stream and search for a place where the ground is soft before too long. I find a promising area, a small valley with hills on most sides and thick foliage on the other. I'm still close enough to civilization to hear cars and other city noise. The area I'm in doesn't seem like it gets visited very often. At the very least, it doesn't really smell like people. The spot that I settle on is a nice mound of earth near the edge of the woods, partially hidden by a tall tree with low-hanging leaves. Even if no one comes by, it makes me feel better knowing that I'll be out of sight. And so I start to dig. My claws rip away the dirt as I burrow downwards, widening the tunnel just enough for my sleek frame to fit. First I dig forward, then downwards, wading out an area that's big enough for my whole body to fit. This is something I've been doing my whole life, even back when I was just a regular fox. But that's why I don't mind it too much, compared to sleeping outside somewhere. It feels right to me. Sorry, compared to sitting inside somewhere, it just feels right to me. It takes a little while, and by the time I'm finally finished, the first few stars will start to peer out from the sky. I shake myself clean of the dirt that sticks to my coat, and transform back into my human form.
Spread this here, a couple of branches here, some leaves there.
Walk around the valley a bit, checking from different angles.
Not bad for just an afternoon's work.
If you weren't looking for it, I don't think you'd ever notice anything out of place. All that digging has made me work up an appetite, not the kind that'll be satisfied with just a few berries.
Ugh, I'm so hungry. I haven't had a real meal since yesterday.
My stomach rumbles painfully. I've been so busy since arriving here in Wellington that I kind of forgot just how hungry I was. I'll grab some human food back in town. Casting one last glance to my afternoon's work, I set off towards the city.
Work never ends. Time to get some food!
Back in the city we go. I'm a bit disappointed when I finally get back to the busy street from before. I was hoping that it'd be emptier now and that all the stores would be closed. Turns out I was half right. A lot of the shops have gone dark for the evening, but there are just as many people walking around now as there were earlier. In fact, there might even be more. The patio of a restaurant has a bunch of tables full. Our maid is sitting in the fountain I sat by earlier, chatting with Cyclops. Even the cafe I visited is crowded now, with a line almost out the door. After pacing up and down the road for a while, I sit down and try and figure out what to do next. I'm not too worried about what's going to happen if I get caught stealing. I just escape, obviously. And even if they somehow manage to catch me, it wouldn't be an issue for very long. See, there's something different about me that makes me extra good at being a thief. It's not just the skills I've practiced over the years, like picking locks and sneaking around. No, it's a bit more special than that. Without fail, every single person I meet forgets about me by the next day. I don't know why, but I don't really care either. It's magic. That's all I know about it, really. Really useful magic. Everywhere I go, no matter how careless I am, all my problems are solved by the next day. Doesn't mean there's no danger. When caught in the act before and beaten or harassed before, I can manage to get away. I've even lost a few prizes that I stole fair and square because I had to go in a hurry. But if someone sees me, but isn't able to stop me, I know I'll be home free. Surely they might remember having something stolen, but they'll never know who did it. And all this makes things too easy. Right now, it would just be smarter to just come back even later, in the dead of night, and hope there's no people around. I'll be able to take my time browsing without having to worry about making an escape. Where's the fun in that, though? I walk casually up and down the street, glancing into windows without being too obvious about it. Some stores have customers inside, and others lock their doors and shut off the lights. Most of the restaurants are still open, and are only making me hungrier. Stealing from restaurants is a bit much even for me, though. I've tried it before, but the cluttered kitchen, as well as all the tables and chairs, make it hard to get around. Plus, I've learned the hard way there are plenty of hot or sharp things for angry cooks to throw at you as you try to make your way out. Instead, packaged and pre-made food are my best friend. Things that I can grab multiple of at once and stuff into my pockets. If I'm really lucky, I'll find a place with refrigerated sandwiches or salads, or sometimes perfectly good hot food that gets thrown out. You won't believe what kind of stuff that's available if you don't mind sifting through the trash a little bit. It's not ideal, of course, but a hot meal is a hot meal. I know plenty of foxes have eaten much worse.
Target spotted.
It's perfect. Small convenience stores, snacks lined up between the... Okay, I need to slow the fuck down when I'm moving, hold on. Okay, it's perfect. A small convenience store, snacks lined up behind the front window. Even better, the shops on either side of it are closed too, so there's not many people in the area.
Locked, huh? Not surprising.
I head down a nearby alley and find the back door, which is probably where they bring in new products. The alleyway is dark to begin with, and my dark clothes help me hide even better. I glance around the alley, glad like always with my excellent night vision. Nobody's watching, nobody's even around. Put my hood up over my ears and tuck my tail between my legs, leaning against a sturdy door. To anyone not looking closely, I'm sure I appear as nothing more than a shadow. I dig around in my pockets until I find a trusty lockpick, and then set to work on the door. It isn't a complicated lock at all, just a regular keyhole. A click, the latch springs open just a few short moments later.
Bingo. Huh?
Try to tug the door towards me. There's a chain on the inside that keeps it from opening very wide. There's no way a human could fit through the gap, but it would be easy for a fox. First, I slink away for a bit, idling on the nearby streets like a regular pedestrian, wait to see if someone shows up, just in case I trigger some silent security system. About 10 minutes later, I decide it's safe. Transform under cover of darkness in the alleyway, and slip into the building before transferring back. The shop isn't very big, and the receiving area is just a small hallway, with a few boxes of soda and candy bars in the front. Grab a couple of my favourites and shove them in my pockets. When I creep into the main area, I make sure to stay low to the ground, trying to avoid being seen from outside. Not exactly hidden, but as long as I don't stand up, I shouldn't attract anyone's attention. I move fast, cramming as much into my coat as I can. Cookies, protein bars, popcorn, I'm not very picky. When my coat starts to feel pretty heavy, I grab a plastic bag from behind the counter, transfer some of my loot into there. I'll stick a few bottles of water and sports drinks from the coolers. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a few of those coveted plastic wrapped sandwiches that I was thinking about earlier.
Jackpot!
Fill my bag with sandwiches until it's almost overflowing, and I head back out the way I came in. In total, I was in and out in under 5 minutes, and I've gotten enough supplies to last me several days. When I step into the alleyway, I glance around in both directions, making sure no one saw me emerge from the store. I don't see anyone, but my neck prickles as if someone is watching me. I sniff the air, but don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing that wasn't there before. Still. Oh shit, we got caught by the vampire girl. Probably. Suddenly there's a flap of wings and a bat flutters past me from out of the shadows. Goes right over my head and disappears from sight up the street.
Oh, that's it?
Someone totally knows what you did. I let out the breath I'd been holding and start making my way back towards the mountain where I made my den. I let the bag swing from my arm as I walk, whistling a song I heard earlier. I'm not able to keep a smile from my face.
All in all, not a bad first day. I've got a nice nest, food to spare, and plenty of places to explore tomorrow.
There's been plenty of days in my life where I've had none of those things. I unwrapped one of the sandwiches that I grabbed and took a bite.
Nothing beats the taste of hard work.
Hope Wellington continues to treat me as well as she continues to treat me well while I'm here.
So tired. I'm gonna sleep so well tonight.
I unpack everything that I got from the store, as well as the treasures that I've been carrying with me, a lockpick, my wallet, and a few pretty stones. The only thing that I leave in my jacket is a small scroll.
Can't get that damaged or dirty.
Change back into my back into a fox, then dig another hole near the entrance of my den. This one is much simpler and shallower, and I bury some of the snacks that I saw before, covering the back up with dirt.
Not like anyone's gonna come by and swipe my things, but better safe than sorry. I stole this myself after all. Don't want it being stolen from me.
I stuff my pen, my favorite rock. So I let my pen and my favorite rock go into the burrow with me, since I like having them close by. Once I've got everything where it belongs, I climb into the hole myself, turning a few circles before settling down with my tail wrapped around me. From here I have a perfect view of the stars. Look up at the clear night sky for the mouth of the tunnel. I feel bad for all the people way down on the underground. Way down on the underworld.
Can they even see the stars from there?
I've never been to the underworld, so I have no idea. I can't imagine falling asleep without them. Comfortable and safe, I close my eyes and quickly slip off to dreamland. I wake up to trouble, or at least to fret. I'm sure it's only morning as I peer out of the burrow's entrance, but the sky is already dark and foreboding. My attention moves from the ominous rain clouds above the trees outside my den. My attention moves from the ominous rain clouds above the trees outside my den, their branches shaking in the strong breeze.
I can't believe that girl from the cafe was right.
What were you expecting? Did I at least plan for this? I climb to the tunnel and out into the open. Sniffing the air, I can tell. It just tells me what I already know. A storm is coming. A storm is coming and fast. But also, another scent plays in my nose. One so faint that I almost brush it off before taking another smell. Surely I'm wrong. There's no way that. Lowering my snout to the ground, I investigate the area. Then decide I'm right. I change into my human form and look around.
Someone's been here.
Yes, someone's definitely been here. The scent isn't a human. It's vaguely familiar, but at the same time, not like anything I recognize. It was the vampire girl.
And it definitely wasn't here when I went to sleep.
I must have come here in the night and stopped right outside my den.
Were they watching me sleep? Oh crap!
As a fox, I dive back into my hole to make sure everything's still there. My heart pounds in my chest, but nothing appears to be missing. I also check the spot where I buried my stash from last night. That hasn't been disrupted either. I breathe a sigh of relief. If any of my stuff had been stolen, I'd be so mad. But that still doesn't answer the question of what they did want. And that's even more concerning. I'm a pretty light sleeper, and usually the slightest sound or emotion will wake me up. So if someone was able to sneak up on me, even I have to be impressed. Impressed and a little bit worried. I've got a more pressing issue right now, though, and I stare up at the sky in disappointment.
Ugh, I hate the rain.
I would have found a different place to make my nest and hide my supplies if I'd known this would happen. She told you. She just told you it was good. This could have. You knew this was coming. Smooth brain. Instead, both burrows will probably be pails of mud by the end of the day.
I should have found a place with a roof after all.
I filled my pockets of most of my important possessions and some of the food I grabbed last night. Everything else I wrapped tightly in the plastic bag I wrap as tightly in the plastic bag as I can and bury them in my den. Hopefully I can find somewhere fast and then move everything else before it gets ruined. An abandoned house would be perfect for some other place where I'd be able to hide. After finishing packing up, I'm just about to get going when a loud flapping sounds overhead. When a large flapping sound overhead catches my attention. I expect it to be a bird, but instead it's yet another bat. She knows what you did, motherfucker. This one is even bigger than the one I saw last night. Its wings are way longer and noisier. I can even hear them. I can even hear it squeaking sometime. I can even hear it squeaking something as it flies past. Some people say bats and foxes are similar. I don't see it. I watch it fly around for a little bit before I take off towards the city.
Maybe it knows somewhere to stay. Guess I'll follow it for now.
A couple of times it disappears between the trees or just too far ahead, but I always manage to catch back up. Eventually we're out of the woods and back into civilization, where a car whizzes right past me. There's a sidewalk here, and other people walking around. Most of them look up to the sky nervously. Though, and everyone seems to be in a hurry.
Guess I'm not the only one looking to get away from the rain.
After finishing packing up, just about to get going when a loud flapping sound overhead catches my attention. Oh yeah, we've already put that. More people seem to be going in the direction I was headed than anywhere else, so stick to that. By now my winged guide is almost out of sight again, just a little black speck in the sky, flying into the distance. Further up this road is a slope that leads to a big fancy looking building. It doesn't look like a shop or a restaurant, at least not one that I've ever seen, but there are so many people going in and out that it has to be open to the public. That's good enough for me. It'll give me somewhere to spend some time, and maybe I can learn something useful. Plus, places like this usually have plenty of valuables inside, and if I'm lucky, I might be able to find something to find my next few days. After all, the bigger the target, the less likely they are to notice something's missing. The sturdy oak door isn't as heavy as it looks, a firm push being enough to heave it open. Gingerly stepping inside and out of the rain, I'm greeted by books. Lots of books. Books on the shelves, books on tables, books on the floor, books everywhere. The place even smells of musty old paper. The dozens or so people inside are mostly leafing through pages my brain's like shutting down trying to read this word. Aisles? I'm pretty sure that's pronounced aisles. Yeah, the place even sells musty old paper. The dozens or so people inside are mostly leafing through pages in the aisles. The odd silence about the building is striking, given how many people are around. Doesn't look like a shop, so I assume this must be a library. I've heard of them, but I've never been in one. No point, since I can't read at all. But it's warm and cozy and very dry, so so it'll do just fine. With a desk near the entrance with a computer on it that I assume would be where I check in. It's unattended, which is good for me. Take a seat in an empty chair nearby and sit back just to observe for a little bit. There are plenty of people, but it's not too busy. Lots of empty, unwatched spaces. Most folks seem to be here alone or in small groups to keep to themselves. There's not much conversation going on, and there is all whispers. And what there is all whispered. Nobody gives me a second glance, which is a good sign. It means I'm probably not breaking any rules just by being here. Behind the desk is a hallway leading deeper into the building, and I peer around the corner to see what's back there. All I could see are some shut doors in the back staircase. After glancing around to make sure no one's watching, I sneaked out of the hall and tried to open a couple of the doors. All of them are locked. I could probably pick them if I wanted to. No sense trying to do that now though. If there's anything more valuable around, an antique clock or vase would be perfect. Sadly, it's almost all books. Books and small trinkets look pretty worthless. Not even worth the trouble of stealing. At least it's got a roof. I just bought a couple of promising items, like a set of old coins, and memorized their location. I wander back to the main area where I came in. Outside it hasn't started raining yet, but it's only a matter of time. The wind is loud and gusty, and even opening the door is enough to make me shiver. If nothing else, I can probably wait out the rain here. Ugh, my poor abandoned snacks back in the den, what a waste. Can't do anything about it now though. I should keep looking around. Why don't you just bring the snacks with you? I move slowly through the area, never going beyond what seems to be the public area. I pretend to inspect a few books, taking them off the shelves and flipping through the pages, but I'm actually mapping out the place in my head. Doors, windows, potential places to hide, things like that. Most of the time, this kind of info is unnecessary. It's been at least a few decades since I've had to make a dramatic escape from anywhere. At this point, plotting out an escape route is just habit. It's a few decades? I'm being honest with you, girl, I think the person you're searching for might be dead. Overall, I like what I'm seeing. Even for the locked doors and off-limit hallways, a lot of nooks and crannies will make a good hiding spot, especially for a fox. From the thick dust that coats a lot of these areas, I can tell they don't get a whole lot of visitors. If I'm careful, I might be able to go a whole week or even more without being noticed. As long as I can get in and out the building easily, that is. With the huge windows that line the back wall, that seems easy enough. I weave around a couple shelves that are taller than I am, heading for the far back corner. I peer around the corner of the last aisle just to make sure I'm alone. But I'm not. Oh shit! It's one of the love interests, let's go. She's fucking adorable. Look at her. At a small table by the window sits a woman with a small book in her hand, resting against her fingers. She's perfectly still, but mouths the words on the pages as she reads, like she's tasting them instead of just seeing them. Her expression has that distant look of someone way off in their own world, far away from this one. She looks so at peace that I think she must belong in that other world. She's beautiful and elegant in the same way as a painting, with the light from the windows shining on her like a display. I duck behind the bookshelf, pressing one hand to my racing heart. My other bumps against one of the books on the shelf, and it falls with a dusty thump. Oh shit, we've been alerted. Cursing my clumsiness, I silently back away in case she decides to investigate, but she doesn't leave her chair.
I suppose it's nothing.
Holy shit, she's a Skyrim NPC. She turns and gazes out the window. At what? I don't know. A moment later, she returns to her book and leaves this world again. I stay hidden, my face is still burning a little bit. Yes, I think this will be the perfect place to spend some time. Oh. Oh, she's adorable. Suddenly, there's a much louder boom than the one that I caused as thunder rumbles outside. Two people around the library startle at the sound, look around. Sighing, the girl in the chair pulls the window beside her closed. The first drops of rain falling not a minute later. I'll investigate the windows later. Right now I don't want to bother her, so I head back to one of the plush chairs on the other side of the library and take a seat. I could be here a while depending on how long the rain lasts, so I may as well get comfy. I find a few books that have more pictures than words, and curl up in one of the soft chairs to flip through them. There aren't as many of those ones, and I go through the stack pretty fast. Takes long enough for the rain to start though. The longer I read, the louder the pounding of the rain and the howling of the wind becomes. Guess it's not lining up anytime soon. Can't complain though. This library is pretty cozy by my usual standards. It's warm and safe and no one tells me to go away. I even have snacks. More than once I get up and walk around the library again, even though I've got most of it memorized by now. Take notes of things like a child's stuffed toy that's laying on the floor in one section, or the thin blanket that's stuffed between a bookshelf and the wall. On my third or fourth trip around, I finally find something that I've been looking for. In one of the far corners, totally opposite of where I saw the girl reading earlier, there's a single chair and small table. On the wall nearby is a portrait. The painting itself is a girl with light brown hair, but I barely pay any attention to that. What I'm interested in is the frame. It's lovely. It was again made of gold. It certainly shines like it. It's carved intricately in shapes of waves flowing up and down. It's gotta be worth something. I pretend not to pay much attention to it as I make my way back to my table. There are too many other people around for me to be able to try to sneak it out. It's too big to fit under my jacket without being obvious. That just means I have to come back some other time, maybe once this place is closed. The hours pass by and the storm continues. I'm kind of disappointed about losing a whole day. Especially so soon after arriving, but it's not like I'm in any sort of hurry. At one of my pockets, feeling the familiar and reassuring weight of the paper scroll is tucked away there. A scroll is the only thing close to a purpose that I have. It's not particularly urgent, or at least I don't have any way to deal with it faster. It's been a long time reading. It's almost afternoon when I go and check the windows again, but the rough weather outside continues. At this rate I'll be sleeping in a puddle of mud tonight. Unless... Oh, would this game have to drop so late? I'm already tired. I'll probably play for a little bit longer, but I don't think I'll be awake enough to read much longer than this. I'll stream again tomorrow. Oh, I'll probably blaze for this though, throughout the week. A quick check shows that a lot of the other library patrons have left. It's not empty, but it's not nearly as full as earlier. Guess some of them decided it was worth braving the rain. Looking as nonchalantly as I can, get up from my seat and pretend to browse again, slowly moving through the shelves. The reading girl is gone now, though she's not what I was looking for. Instead, I pick up the dropped toy and blanket that I spotted earlier, and then head to one of the out-of-the-way hiding spots I picked out before. It's on the floor between a shelf and the wall, but has a bit of carpet to help make it softer. Even better, it's between two corner shelves, meaning it's practically out of sight if you're not looking for it. I wriggle my way between the furniture and lie down, using the toy as a pillow and draping the blanket over me. I toss and turn a few times before settling down.
Yep, not bad at all.
Even though I haven't done much today, I'm almost down to take a nap. I can pass a few hours by sleeping, waking up once it's dark and then grab that picture frame and be on my way. I have to rebuild my den once I get back, but that's a problem for future me. I yawn, staring up at the ceiling until my eyes get heavy.
Maybe today won't be a total waste after all.
I save? Can I save? Here we go. Chapter 1 data. Yes, it was saved.
Oh, you didn't finish this one!
Yeah, there we go.
Bye-bye! See you next time!
That's adorable. As much as I would love to read more, I am shattered. No way to continue reading. I'll stream tomorrow. I don't know what time yet, but I'll stream tomorrow. And I'll continue the game. It'll be up on YouTube as well. You're probably watching this on YouTube. But yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.